Hi there, I'm Howard Hale. Welcome to 5 Minute Friday. Today I've got my great friend here, Bryan Heathman, and he is from Made for Success Publishing. Welcome, Bryan, to the show. Bryan today is going to talk about why audiobooks are so amazing, and the information he's got is going to blow you away. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 5 Minute Friday. Bryan, great to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about audiobooks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm stoked about that. So,
Awesome.
Bryan has been doing this for, 20 plus years.
Well, for quite a while. I've been doing it since about 2005. But, when you think about the art of influence for a business owner, perhaps, there are a number of tools that you can reach for to expand your influence. You can get radio interviews, you can get television interviews, you can do podcasting, you can do social media. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was expanding your influence as a business owner through publishing. Now, I run a book publishing company, and we deal with this whole idea of influence on a daily basis. And there's three basic ways that you can use publishing to your advantage via the three main products. The biggest product for publishing is a physical book. The second is an ebook. And the third is sort of the undiscovered product derivative of the book publishing world called the audiobook.
Wow, you've got me intrigued. Okay, I know a ton about audiobooks and publishing books, but I know zip about audiobooks. What can you tell me about the audiobook industry?
Well, the audiobook business is sort of interesting. So in the United States, physical books represent maybe a $27 billion annual industry. And inside of that, the audiobooks represent about $2.1 billion. But here's what makes audiobooks so interesting, is that the audiobook business over the last 2 years, the last 2 years has grown by over 30%. In fact, it was 36% 2 years ago, and it was 37% growth last year. Meanwhile, the book business has only grown maybe 2 or 3% per year. So when you take a look at the art of influence using publishing as your tool, the darling of the book publishing business is the audiobook derivative. So that's why it's so exciting to talk about this today.
Nice. So tell me more about the audiobook industry and why it's so attractive to business owners.
Well, so when you think about expanding your influence using a book, if you were to write a book and get it published and stick it up into Amazon.com, perhaps, there are today about 54 million different titles in Amazon.com. Now, if you think about it in terms of a reader, how are you going to shift your attention to 54 million different book titles? Well, it's virtually impossible. So the beauty of the audiobook business is that there are only 300,000 audiobooks commercially available today in the largest audiobook catalogs. So the level of competition for an audiobook to get discovered or get found as an author is minuscule compared to that of a book.
Wow. So what are some of the other challenges that business owners who are also authors are facing today with publishing and getting the word out?
Well, that's a great question, Howie. So in terms of the biggest problem that an author... Now, Howie, I understand that you've written a book, correct?
A couple books, yeah.
Okay. So when you were in the process of writing your book, what kind of problems did you have with your book?
Oh my God, all of them. I mean, it was like climbing Mount Everest, barefoot, no oxygen, 10 months, $10,000 later. I mean, it was really challenging finding someone who could help me with the editing, the cover, not just fluffing up the content, but really good editing skills and the steps that you have to take to actually get the book published.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's a bunch of technical elements for getting a book published, but the real challenge I think that most authors have is getting their book discovered. So we in the business call it discoverability. And the beauty of the audiobook business is that the challenge of getting discovered as an audiobook is a whole lot less competitive than the 54 million other books that you're competing with up on Amazon.com.
Wow. So How do you go about the whole process of like recording an actual video or an audio?
So an audiobook is actually kind of interesting. You've got a couple choices. So one choice is that you can find a local studio in your local area, go in, make arrangements with them to get the audiobook recorded. The second option that's becoming more and more popular is to set up a in-home recording studio. So with about $300 to $500 worth of gear, you can actually be set up tomorrow recording audiobooks on your own personal computer.
Nice. So, is it take a lot of technical knowledge or a lot of expense or like what's the ramp up time to actually creating an audiobook?
So it does take a little bit of technical knowledge. It's when I talk to new authors that are getting into this, I say this is a process that's not for the faint of heart. Right? So you have to set up some software on your computer. You've got to plug all this gear into your computer. But once you get through those technical hurdles, the process really of doing an audiobook is just sitting down in front of a microphone, sitting there with your manuscript, and reading the words on the page. It's really not that difficult.
Well, actually, that sounds kind of fun to me.
It actually is a lot of fun.
'Cause
You'd really enjoy it.
being on camera, you have to like actually be on camera, and you have to show your expressions. But with reading something, you could really put some emotion into the words and get people to feel what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this has been a great discussion about audiobooks. Just in a couple minutes, in a nutshell, to kind of figure out what this looks like, to kind of capitalize on the darling of the book publishing business, audiobooks, with a huge growth that it has. And I hope you find some of these tips useful in your business.
Well, thanks for being on 5 Minute Friday, Bryan. And as always, it's awesome to talk to you. How can people get in touch with you?
You know, if you want to get in touch with us and learn more, visit madeforsuccesspublishing.com.
Awesome. Great job. So thanks again for watching 5 Minute Friday. As always, like, share, and comment. And if you have questions for Bryan, put them down below, and we'll be sure to get those questions to Bryan.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Take care.